Are you ready?
Take 3 Wrestling Podcast. Don't adjust your dial. New entrance theme all the way live. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, any of those other fun places you can see us, it's a new logo too.
We're in our DX era.
We're a bunch of degenerates.
I'm like, we've been like the NWO thing for a hot minute. You know, we've done the regular, the old NWO. We've done the red and black for a minute. I'm like, you know what? It's time to shake it up a little bit. And I don't know, just something about like a DX style. And I heard this 80s remix. It's I forget. I'll have to pull up the name of the channel on YouTube because the music's remixes there are fantastic, but that we've just unapologetically stolen. They're fantastic. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do our DX era because I think that's a lot of fun. Mike's got the hiccups tonight.
Oh, it sucks ass.
Dude,
Trying to get rid of them.
They are the worst. And I'm gonna say this, and this is gonna jinx the crap out of me because I have been podcasting for 11 years, and I don't think I have ever once had the hiccups on a podcast day. And because when I get them, they last for fucking ever, and I get them multiple times a day.
Mm-hmm.
So so now I'm sure in the next couple of weeks I will undoubtedly have a hiccup day on the podcast because I said that. But that's the risk I'm willing to take. But yeah, I don't think it's ever happened because so usually what I do when I get them, usually the thing that can usually cure them, because everybody has their own little tips and tricks and tools. I will take a like teaspoon or regular just spoonful of peanut butter and eat that, and I think it's just whatever your brain has to do to get that peanut butter out your mouth will distract whatever diaphragmatic bullshit is going on that is keeping you having the hiccups.
I'm gonna just go ahead and say it was probably my golf game today.
Wow,
gave me the hiccups.
That can certainly happen as well. So, Mike, remember how last week I texted you that, or the other week I got like that one Mickey bottle?
Yep.
At the Aldi, I got a fucking second one. I'm such a goddamn sucker for that fucking mouse owns my goddamn life now. He really does. And a little fucker's just smiling about it too. He knows.
Shut up and give me your money.
He knows. It's silly. It really is silly.
So all right. So we have a chock full show. 3. Three full previews of some shows that are coming up this weekend. We also will probably dabble across the kind of breaking news that transpired earlier today with WrestleMania potentially not being in New Orleans anymore and potentially going back to Las Vegas. I'll wait for Joe to get here to talk about that because I know Joe has opinions on that. But while we wait for Joe, real quick, talking about the Fantasy Wrestling League. I'm dying over here.
Easy for you to say. Oops. What is happening? Go ahead.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
My computer's glitching.
Yeah, your computer doesn't work for me, brother. I am currently leading the way with 56 points. Tim is in second with 32 points. Jim has 31. Joe has 16. This week was a chalk-filled week of roster moves because of the upcoming events, as I'm dying still a little on the inside.
It happens.
basically, so you guys can catch up at home because we didn't have a show last week, obviously. Currently, these are the moves from this week. Jim dropped Alexa Bliss to pick up hopefully not new world champion Logan Paul.
I don't want it to happen, but if it's going to happen, I might as well get points for it.
Joe made his first roster move of the year.
Hey!
He decided to finally drop Fiend and pick up Braun Breaker.
Fiend. I'm convinced that's why the Toronto Maple Leafs lost Game 7.
Yes.
Because I heard that song playing.
I dropped Dominic Mysterio and I added Nick Nemeth. Tim dropped Nia Jax, added the Hangman.
The Hangman.
Jim decided to drop Bob Lashley, thinking that the Hurt Syndicate was going to drop the titles.
Don't tell me. I'm
this
going to tell you I told you so next week.
He picked up Old Man River, a.k.a. Dustin Rhodes. The Natural. Joe dropped Montez Ford right before they had a title defense. That was a brilliant decision, Joe. Unless he thinks Fraxium's going to win the titles.
Well, you know.
He added Damian Priest. I dropped Rusev and picked up Bob Lashley because I think the Hurt Syndicate retained for at least one more month. Tim had the first error of the season. He tried to pick up Joe Hendry, still on Jim's roster.
Yeah, I was like, let's hear, motherfucker.
He did drop Speed Bam Mike Bailey and added Kazuchika Okada.
Foot pervert.
Jim added Sammy Guevara, dropped Powerhouse Hobbs. Myself and Joe locked our roster. Tim dropped Mercedes Moné, added Jamie Hayter. Jim dropped Takeshita, added Mercedes. Tim dropped Chelsea Green, added Angelo Dawkins, and then Jim made the move of dropping Megan Bain.
My God, you're a big bitch!
And adding Cash Wheeler. And then the last move of the week, Gunther was dropped off of Tim's roster, and he added Kofi Kingston.
Yes. A lot of movement.
So currently here are your rosters as Joe just got here. My roster currently sits as Aleister Black, Obafemi, Jey Uso. My AEW roster is Will Ospreay, Tony Storm, Shelton Benjamin. My wild cards are Masha Slamovich, Bobby Lashley, Nick Nemeth, and Jakob Fatu. For Jim, it's Sol Ruka, Hank and Tank, Jordan Grace, Mercedes Moné, Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara, Joe Hendry, Logan Paul, Cash Wheeler. For Joe, it is Seth Rollins, Penta, Rhea Ripley, Swerve, Adam Cole, Rick O'Shea. He's still a dick. Damian Priest, Becky Lynch, Ricky Saints, and Braun Breaker. And Tim's roster is Stephanie Vacour, John Cena, Angelo Dawkins, his AEW members. Oh, nice shirt. Jamie Hayter, Kenny Omega, and Kyle Fletcher. His wild cards are Io Sky, Kazuchika Okada, Adam Hangman Page, and Kofi Kingston. There
we go. I'm sure there'll be a good number of moves next week.
There will be about 47 of them next week. When I get rid of both of my TNA wrestlers and half of my fucking AEW people.
By the way, I titled this episode a Weekend Threesome, and Twitch wouldn't let us go live with it. I just had to change it to a weekend. I guess that's a dirty word that Twitch won't allow on its platform.
Well, they knew Joe was here, so
well, that's fair.
We could have gone live on OnlyFans.
We could have.
All right, so 3 full shows to go over, obviously. But I guess let's start with the elephant in the room. I guess let's address the pure elephant here.
Yeah, this will be in place of I think we're gonna break them up with blind rankings. I didn't prepare one, so this newsy bit will be my blind ranking.
Sure, I have
blind rank. Where's WrestleMania gonna be next year?
I have 2 of them anyways. So if we need,
that's cute. I didn't prepare one either.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You preparing something is like saying that I'm gonna get skinny by eating fucking chocolate and cake.
Oh God, I fucking love chocolate. I was proud of myself today, man. All 3 of my meals were under 700 calories.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
Look at you go. Attaboy.
It's a journey. It's a journey. Some days better than others.
And every once in a while, you got to have the day where your calorie intake is 4,400.
Oh, I mean, you mean yesterday when I went over by 400 calories because I had normal meals and then I ate
Like shit at the Hershey game.
Chicken tendies and a foot-long hot dog at the Hershey Bears game.
Exactly.
Eat my sorrow in between the second and third period.
Oh God. All right. So, do we want to preview a show and then talk WrestleMania, or do we just want to just rip the WrestleMania
Let's
talk?
talk Mania a little bit. We can. I mean, Saturday Night Main Event's a 4-match.
Hell yeah, I love that.
Burn through that one.
All right. So it came out earlier today through multiple media sources. WrestleMania 42 would not be taking place from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. That it is on the move.
I got an idea. What if we sprinkle our picks through the conversation? Like I can be like, New Orleans really took a loss. The way R-Truth is going to take a loss to John Cena.
I can't wait for R-Truth to win just to troll the shit out of all of you. Little Jimmy about to get got.
About to get got.
All right. So the report came out. NOLA is no longer the host site for WrestleMania 42. Then a couple of other news articles started to be released of where it could be. Obviously Saul staying in Las Vegas for another year. I saw Saudi Arabia was on the list. Obviously London is a low-hanging qualifier that won a WrestleMania real bad. Then there's some other cities that I've seen were kicking the tires. Dallas, Minnesota, Indianapolis, who has a WrestleMania coming up already given to them. And then the other one was, and I saw it, and then Tim reminded me of it, was Toronto. I guess let's start first off. Why do we think the exit from New Orleans?
I have no idea, to be honest. Because the main reason I would have guessed was because another city outbid them. But if that was the case, then it's weird that we don't have an announcement for what that other city is.
Unless they're going to announce it tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Or on Saturday night's main event. I mean, all very possible. And if that would make sense, like, listen, hey, New Orleans, we got this deal with you. And then, fucking Durka pops out of the sand and goes, how about you take all these millions and you give us the show instead? I'm just saying, like, that feels like a possibility of a thing that might have happened. If Saudi wins this one the way Damian Priest is going to win that steel cage match,
stop it.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Somebody mute intern Mark. How'd he get on our show?
Oh my God. He fucking did it. I mean, the answer as to why is money, right? Like,
it does, but so New Orleans has been a resounding positive place for WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And your response is, we'll give you a UFC card and Money in the Bank 2026. This feels like the Bo Jackson trade all over again. How many draft picks were given up for Herschel Walker?
Yeah. It's whatever city it is going to land in. Probably Vegas. I think the most likely other scenario would be London, right? Because the WWE tossed that out casually last spring, and every time anything is brought up about WrestleMania, it's got to, when's London getting one? When's London getting one? So I feel like it's either going to be Vegas or London. I mean, some of those other options I know. And that's the other weird thing is, like, I've lost track of how many future pay-per-view deal sites that different cities have. Because, like, at first we thought, like, Minnesota was getting, we're for sure, we're waiting for the announcement Minnesota's getting WrestleMania. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, they get the 2-night SummerSlam and a WrestleMania to be named later. And then New York gets the first 2-night SummerSlam. And then it's like Indianapolis is going to get the Royal Rumble plus a SummerSlam plus a WrestleMania to be named later. Now they announced WrestleMania in New Orleans, and then they're like, just kidding, Money in the Bank and a UFC thingy, but we're gonna give you a WrestleMania later. Don't worry. Like, is the WWE just hoping that like these cities forget that like they have like IOUs for a WrestleMania? Like, it's such a weird thing. It's like I remember watching WrestleMania and they would announce the next WrestleMania and that's where it was going to be. And like that again, that's the difference between TKO and WWE owning WWE. Like that's where the difference lies, because now TKO is just like, oh well, insert city here is going to give us 20% more money than New Orleans did. So we'll worry about New Orleans later when the price of the deal goes up a little bit higher. This place is giving us the money now. But like, where does that end? Like, because we're less than a year away, right? Like, and so they announced it, and we're, and not that WrestleMania sells itself. It really does. So like, are we going to get to the point where they're not announcing WrestleMania until 6 months out? Because
I think this is genuinely a one-off. I genuinely believe. I talked to you about it off air before the show started. This is a move that was made by multiple people inside the city of Las Vegas, the state of Nevada, to get another thing to help finance that baseball stadium that they're building in Las Vegas. We've talked about how business is down across a lot of the Las Vegas properties. Money isn't the strongest flow capital right now in Las Vegas. They spent a lot of taxpayer money on getting that stadium approved. And let's not forget the TKO home base, and I'm using TKO/UFC. Their home base is in Las Vegas. They're in Las Vegas for 4 weeks out of a 6-week run doing UFC events, boxing events, slap fight, all the other PBR, the bull riding is in Vegas quite a bit. This is a move where they're going to get buildings for pennies on the dollar. Vegas is going to get money hand over fist for hotel rooms, Ubers, attractions, gambling to help finance a multi-billion-dollar baseball stadium, because that stadium's got to be done in the next 2 years. And I guarantee you, once that thing's built, WrestleMania probably ain't going back to Vegas for a couple years, because they're going to want to fill that baseball stadium with baseball fans. Come check out this new thing in beautiful Las Vegas. They're going to call up all their people that sports bet. They're going to call up all the people that play all the games in the casino, and they're going to try to give away tickets to fill that fucking stadium. This is a move purely from my mind. This is a isolated incident. New Orleans is still going to get their WrestleMania. They got a Money in the Bank on top of it and a UFC card. But I guarantee you they probably locked in the same price. They probably told WWE, this is what you're getting from us, whether that WrestleMania comes in 3 years or 7 years.
I just like that it sounds like WWE is cutting deals with cities the way our president makes deals. Like, they're just out here being like, listen, you want WrestleMania, they want WrestleMania. I got this big, beautiful backlash. Big, beautiful backlash for you. Big, beautiful show. You take this one. And a UFC show. You get WrestleMania. Down the line, you get WrestleMania. Everybody gets WrestleMania.
It literally sounds like every sports entity in the world.
Yeah, and that's
I'm getting a shit ton of money from the New York Yankees, but I don't really want to play for the Yankees, Mr. Met. I'd rather play for you. Here's the money that they're offering me. Can you offer me more? Whoa. I can't offer you more, but I can give you a no trade clause. I can give you an option at the end of it. I can give you the rights to your firstborn child, and I can give you have say in who we draft for the next 5 years. It literally feels like we're wheeling and dealing with, like we're an MLB or an NFL franchise trying to get the next best quarterback. Oh, look, Patrick Mahomes just became a free agent. All right, who's bidding for him?
So it's gonna be Vegas.
Well, Wrestle Travel, which is a company that I follow on Facebook, who do packages for all the WrestleManias, have said that it's looking more and more like Las Vegas, and that was 6 hours ago.
Okay.
I'm not. Nothing again has become official. If I was gonna put financial ruins on where it would be located, Vegas is the leader in the clubhouse, to use a golf term.
Yeah.
I truly believe that this is, like I said, an isolated incident where Vegas probably saw the dollar amount that they made off of this one, and they're like, we need to fucking make some extra money for that fucking baseball stadium. Let's see if we can get it back. And TKO was like, cool, you're going to give me this venue at the Fountain Blue again. You're going to give me the hockey arena, T-Mobile Arena. You're going to give me Allegiant Stadium. You give me access to all these hotels to do the Undertaker show and to do all this other shit.
Yeah, the most important question. Will there be a second annual Roast of WrestleMania?
If there is, it will not be hosted by the guy who hosted this one.
No.
I just need Nia Jax on, like, fucking tearing into everybody one more time. She'll have, like, Charlotte will have a whole new face by then. She'll have new material.
And she's still collecting pieces of her face from that chair thrown by Tiffany Stratton on.
You know what? Cheers to Tiffany Stratton for giving out that receipt for the fucking roast.
There you go. Atta girl.
Way to give her that receipt.
Yeah.
It just genuinely feels like it's going to be Vegas. I don't know. It
does.
Like, it doesn't.
The way it feels like Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker are going to win that tag match on Saturday night's main event. It does feel like it's going to be Vegas.
I did too. That's why I was trying to talk over him, and I just let it go, and I just regret.
Yep. Sometimes you just gotta just let it happen.
Yep.
Rapey.
If it isn't Las Vegas, just say the hypothetical world is not Las Vegas. Obviously, Jim would love a London WrestleMania. Me personally, I think that's one that you give them a year in advance. I think that's the one where you're like, okay, we're going to fucking London. Here's your chance to get fucking hyped up for it. Because you got to remember, 6 months, a lot of people travel for that event. A lot of people have probably already bought tickets to New Orleans for said event. Or hotels or things like that. A lot of Americans still travel in for WrestleMania because, like you said, the name sells itself. That might be one that you want to give people a year to get their shit together. Passports, flights, etc. To make sure that you can get people into the building and into the country and things like that. Not that London fans need any of us Americans there, but WWE still does abdicate to their fan base. And I wouldn't also be surprised if there's a thought process, and I know that London's a potential talks of the WWE NXT Europe coming back. Maybe you wait and you launch that European brand at the back half of 2025, and WrestleMania in 2026 would be a perfect time to be like, hey, look at that. But again, you only have 6 months to do it. I don't think they're even close to being ready for that NXT Europe. So maybe you start that at the back end of 2026. You give that another year to really develop itself. And then your 2027, you put it in London.
Yeah. Yeah, you are probably right about the travel thing. I mean, for me, it's more of like a hopeful.
Sure.
I do believe it's Vegas as well.
I would say that any of the cities that we mentioned, with the exception of London and Saudi Arabia, I think would have truly been in play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Toronto's in play.
The only part about it that doesn't make sense for any city other than Vegas is the timing. Because why all of a sudden would Dallas be like, hey, wait a second, we know you already got this deal with New Orleans, but let's one up you. Like
Right.
Vegas doing it makes a whole lot of sense for all the reasons that you already mentioned.
Well,
Vegas doing it makes a lot of sense.
Jerry Jones would always want to one up somebody. It's Jerry.
Sure,
Yeah, but it still would be kind of random to just 2 months later. Like this is making sense in the time frame where they'd be getting all the numbers for how this WrestleMania did, and looking at it and being like, "Well, shit, we could use another one of these. Let's see if we can make this happen."
And that's why I'm saying I think that's probably the main driving force. But we also don't know what the number was that New Orleans was willing to give. What if that number was what it was for WrestleMania 30?
Right.
And it ain't that industry anymore because of inflation and all the other bullshit that goes on in our day-to-day lives.
Right.
You know, that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not ruling any reason out for why they decided that New Orleans was potentially now not going to be the host city of WrestleMania 42.
I mean, you also got to think that even in this day and age, Vegas is still that place where you're going to sell out no matter what, because the hotels are going to buy half of the tickets. The casinos are going to buy half the tickets. You know, people with clients are going to buy half the tickets. Like, you're never afraid of not selling out in Vegas because there's so many people just buying those tickets outright before you even get to the point where just you worry about fans buying them. Then you don't get that at other cities. But, like, you know, you see that with boxing. You see that with UFC. You see all of that in Vegas already as it is. So, like, that's another thing where it's like, okay, in a world where the economy is kind of taking a hit, where, you know, you got to be worried, are people going to be able to afford these ticket prices? You don't have to be worried about that in Vegas because they're going to get butts in those seats in Vegas. Someone's paying for those tickets, even if it's the casinos.
Right. Yeah, I mean, because this year that was the big thing is who's going to spend $600 to sit in the 400 level? Apparently, a lot of people, because that motherfucker was full. People were sitting on the stage.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah,
a lot of people there to see Jey Uso win the world title. Kind of the way he's going to retain it this Saturday at Saturday Night's Main Event against Logan Paul.
4 letters, 1 word. No.
But yeah, it is going to be Vegas, and it's a money play, and that's what it is. Because they haven't started selling tickets yet. I mean, I know people have already started making travel plans, but spoiler alert, you should have had travel insurance. You should have, that sort of thing. But yeah, it'll be Vegas. I imagine they'll announce it this weekend now that the news is leaking out anyway. The question is, do they do it? Do they do it on SmackDown, or do they wait until Saturday Night's Main Event? And is there somebody delivering a special announcement?
You definitely do it on Saturday Night's Main Event because that's when you are on cable television
and Peacock
and the Peacock. No, I don't do anybody making a special announcement. Especially don't do the guy who made the announcement that they were doing it in New Orleans.
Oh, you can't. Yeah, Big Dwayne can't do this one.
No, because this is just another part of the storyline of haha.
Gotcha, bitch. Man, I still remember one time when I was a kid. I was at a house show in Hershey, and they announced during the house show, next, we're coming back in May, and it'll be Monday Night Raw right here in the Hershey Park Arena. Tickets go on sale right now at the box office during intermission. And I remember my dad left my brother and I at the seats and went and got in line and stood in line and got tickets to Monday Night Raw. And about 2 weeks before Monday Night Raw was supposed to be in Hershey, they changed it to a Sunday house show. I thought that Tony Chimmel was going to get shot when he came out of the fucking locker room to start the Sunday house show. I've never heard a ring announcer. That was the first time I'd heard a ring announcer get legitimately booed by a crowd. And quite frankly, he didn't deserve it. The WWE.
They deserve the reaction.
Yeah, it was, man. So New Orleans, people of New Orleans, I feel you. Enjoy your Money in the Bank next year.
I guess, and this is where I will wrap up. How is the New Orleans Sports Commission or committee or whatever their thing is, that how are you okay going, we'll take a future one, but give us these two events? Like, you almost have them by the balls. They signed a contract. You just let them out of it, and your thought process was, I'll take a middle of the road UFC card in the middle of June and a fucking Money in the Bank that will take place 4 months after the event that we were supposed to have.
So I imagine it's possible that they'll still do the Money in the Bank at the Superdome, because they've done Money in the Bank in stadiums the last couple of years.
That's a big fucking venue to fill.
It is.
Money in the Bank.
It is.
You better tarp off all of the 400.
And say you're probably going to tarp off 400s, but even still, you're going to get it, because I mean they tarped off a good bit for SummerSlam in Cleveland last year.
Yeah, but let's talk about that. Is Cleveland really a destination?
No, but what I mean is, like,
and is New Orleans, outside of WrestleMania and non-football season, a real destination? If you're over the age of 21 and you want to go for Mardi Gras or anything like that, yeah, it is. But the middle of fucking June, early July?
No, but so this is I guess this is more my point, at least from that aspect. Is the Smoothie King Center?
Yes, right next door to the Superdome.
Holds 17,791.
Mm-hmm.
WrestleMania 34 at the Superdome set 78,240. Now, you're not going to put 80,000 people in the Superdome for Money in the Bank. So let's cut 30,000 off of that number. So now you're looking at 48,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's still 30,000 more people than are sitting at the Smoothie King Center.
Not denying it.
Yeah.
But
so
but this is the counterpoint. You filled in 78,000 for WrestleMania. How many of them don't live in the fucking city of New Orleans?
Oh, a lot.
Money in the Bank. I don't think Money in the Bank gets 40,000 New Orleans residents to that show.
No, but I think that WWE's hoping / banking on, I mean, I don't think the whatever thousands of people that went to Toronto when they did Money in the Bank the other year, where have they done? They've done Money in the Bank in stadiums 2 years in a row. Like, I don't think all of those people were from those cities, right? So I guess they're hoping that people are going to travel for Big Five pay-per-views, because WWE views Money in the Bank as a Big Five. So I think that's what they're banking on. I think they are banking on that people are going to travel.
So from 2020,
Scotiabank Arena. Okay.
So
2002.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 2021, it was at the Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. 2022 was at the MGM Grand Garden Arena. 23 was at the O2.
O2 was the bigger.
18,000 was the attendance for that show.
Okay. Oh.
And Money in the Bank last year was at Scotia with 19,000.
So they'll do it at Smoothie King then. I thought they were doing them at bigger stadiums.
But that's what I'm getting at. Like, you've now pivoted from.
They're probably giving the city of New Orleans or their entertainment bureau some money back as part of. Here's a couple million along with these two events plus a Mania to be named later.
So, and then we can wrap this up. When do we think is the Mania to be named later?
Okay, so this year will be Vegas.
because you have Indianapolis that has one coming to them. You have Minneapolis that's been given one with an eventual date to be determined. We all agree that we think Saudi Arabia is going to get one.
Yeah.
I think it's just a matter of time until they end up back in Dallas.
Yeah. So okay. So SummerSlam 2026 is in
Minneapolis. So
Okay.
you can cross them off for 26.
Well, yeah, because 26 Mania will be Vegas.
Correct.
So WrestleMania in 2027.
I think you cross Minneapolis off. It's only 6 months after the last big show in that city. I don't think they're going to double dip that quick.
Yeah. So I think the 2027 will be either Indy or that's when you'll do New Orleans.
Could you see a world where it's something that hasn't really been thought of? Toronto, Detroit.
It could be
A return potentially to a place like Dallas, Arizona, which hasn't had one since
26.
Undertaker versus Shawn.
Yeah.
I mean,
It could be.
I'm genuinely surprised that they haven't ended up back at University of Phoenix Stadium. I don't.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're just like Dallas has become the new like
Western hub.
Southwestern hub.
They filled the fucking baseball stadium for Royal Rumble there. I just don't know how you don't put a Mania back in that football stadium. But
I'll say this: I think within the next 5 to 7 years, you will cross off Indy, Minnesota, Saudi, and this New Orleans show. And
so by WrestleMania 50,
pretty much, yeah. And then you'll scatter in 3 more other ones, whether it be London, Detroit, Dallas, Arizona,
New York, maybe a return to Seattle,
Florida, Seattle,
another trip to LA,
maybe another trip to LA. Yeah, you'll scatter 3 more in there, but yeah, I think you knock out these back end deals over the next 5 to 7.
Makes sense. Joe, anything else on WrestleMania?
No.
All right.
Let's do that Money in the Bank thing, or not Money in the Bank. Jesus H. Let's do that Saturday night's main event thing. This Saturday at the Yuengling Center in Tampa, Florida. 4 matches. Joe's already predicted, I think, 3 of them. But we'll let him.
No, I got all 4 in.
Got them all 4. We'll let you do them again anyway. A steel cage match: Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Mike,
if this isn't the blue steel cage, I don't care.
They have to, right?
It's Saturday night's main event. You got to bring out the blue cage for Saturday night's main event.
If they don't, they fucked it up.
That being said, they're going to fuck it up. Give me Wish.com Rhea Ripley, aka Damian Priest.
I know they're going to fuck it up. You know why I'm going to fuck it? They're going to fuck it up because either Cena and Truth or the Yeet Man and Logan Paul have to open the show, and the other version of those has to close the show, and you don't have the time in the 2 hours to put up the fucking salad steel cage.
No, you could open with the salad steel cage.
I don't think they will. I think you got to open. You got to bookend with your biggest matches.
Well, your biggest match is the tag match, but I digress.
Fair. Joe.
Give me bisexual Undertaker.
Yeah, I think Priest wins this one pretty easily. Next one, CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker in a tag team match. Mike?
I will take the tandem of Too Tan to Quit of Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Paul Heyman looking like he spent way too much time inside of a tanning bed that may or may not have been located inside of Tony Soprano's basement. You
ain't kidding. Joe.
Yeah, give me the 7-Eleven hot dog burner alliance.
Yeah, they have to win their first match. They have to.
They've already taken too many L's in this by just even disqualification losses.
Yeah, like whether it's Sami Zayn ends up being the third man or that there's another third man lurking out there, I don't care. You have to win this match.
You know what? They are in Tampa. Don't be surprised if Hulk comes out and is the third man for this group too.
Oh, for God's sake. Nah, he just had neck surgery. He ain't showing up for this.
Brother. No, he'll show up. Doesn't mean he'll do anything.
Well, no,
But if
because
he
now
doesn't show up, but like Brutus shows up with the thermos.
now Hogan's competing with American Freelance Wrestling, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, but Hogan's definitely going to be the one that announces that, brother, we're going back to Vegas for WrestleMania 42.
Fucking hell.
You asked if someone was going to be there. He lives in Tampa. You set this up yourself.
Oh, God damn it.
Damn it.
Yep. You guys are playing checkers. I'm playing 3D chess.
Fuck, I could thought this week could not get worse than with the Bears getting eliminated, but here the fuck we are.
When it comes crashing down and it hurts inside.
Yeah, it does hurt inside.
It's not a
right,
bad time to be a Panthers fan, just saying.
Go Western Conference.
Go Oilers, baby. John Cena versus R-Truth. Although, Joe, I will say, thank you for exposing the fucking Hurricanes as a goddamn fraud. I only wish my Capitals could have done it.
So I'm new to hockey for the most part, okay?
Carolina.
It's not usually this easy.
I thought you had to be really good to get this far into the playoffs. Like Toronto, I understood why they were in the playoffs. I was a little scared.
So
I don't understand what's happening with Carolina.
So the Hurricanes got really lucky because they played a fraudulent Devils team in round one and they coasted to victory. And they played a old beat up Capitals team who lost their number one defenseman prior to the postseason.
Okay.
And the Caps just couldn't figure out how to beat Carolina.
Also, to be very good in hockey when it comes the months of May, June, and July, you got to have a really good goaltender.
Yeah.
And Frederick Anderson stood on his fucking head against Washington. And LT did not play great, and I think it was because he was hurt.
If you ever have a goalie that like somebody looks at him and goes, "Man, this guy's never played great in the playoffs," and they're playing against the Capitals, that motherfucker's about to have the best series of his goddamn life.
Frederick Anderson, mediocre goalie in the regular season. Dude couldn't get a shot by him. And
there was a game 7, and there was a game 7 in a series against the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, god damn it!
And Yaroslav Halak came out of nowhere to take the Canadians through this series. The Washington Capitals attempted 138 shots in the game. That 55 of them made it to Yaroslav Halak, and he stopped 53 of them or something.
Holy crap.
I hate it so much. But thank God for 2018. But yes, thank you for doing the Lord's work. Fuck the Hurricanes. They can rot in hell. John Cena versus R-Truth. Mike.
Little Jimmy about to get got. He doesn't lose until he loses the title. It's a non-title match. The title's not going to be defended. Cena wins.
Hey, Joe.
I didn't even realize it was a non-title match.
I didn't either.
Neither one of us did until I was listening to them talk on 3CT, and Jim goes, "What the fuck? He's not even defending the title?"
I was like, "What in the holy hell?"
Like, you might as well defend the title. He's not going to lose either way.
Right?
Like, him not defending the title almost makes you think there's a chance that R-Truth could win, and I think that's why they did it. Because nobody would ever believe that R-Truth is going to win the title.
Right.
Now you at least put doubt in the mind of like, oh, look, John Cena could overlook R-Truth. Another crack in the foundation.
I like Ryan's theory that, like, Truth might accidentally win.
He, like, trips and just, like, fucking lands on him.
Right, like, if some fucking goofy dumb shit happens and somehow he
John Cena forgets to kick out.
Or like he just falls like ass backwards into the fucking win. Yeah, Cena's winning. There's not a chance he doesn't. And then last one, singles match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso versus Logan Paul.
4 letters. 1 word. Yeet. I get it. Logan Paul is probably the second best entertainment person to ever come into a WWE ring and be a member of the roster. The only one that I think I'd take over him is Bad Bunny, but that's debatable. And I know that Logan Paul is a advertising machine, and I know that there is a lot of people that think Logan Paul could be a lot of fun carrying around the world heavyweight title. Spoiler alert, I think it happens in the year of 2025. Spoiler alert, I think it happens with help from Money in the Bank. I think it'd be a lot of fun to see him walk around with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, that tracks.
Only way that happens if he doesn't win the world title. Give me Jey Uso to retain. I wouldn't be surprised if Jey Uso does not walk out of Money in the Bank 2025 with the title, because Logan Paul wins the title then. Cashes in that night. But Domino 1 is that Logan Paul has to lose. So give me Jey Uso.
There you go. Joe?
Yeah, I'm going to take Jay. I wouldn't. It'd be interesting if Logan won. I mean, doing that on NBC, having kind of, I think he deserves the top spot in terms of celebrity wrestlers only because of the consistency. He's become a main roster member at this point. He's there more often than Roman is. So, I love Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny was incredible in his 2 matches. Bad Bunny's been in 2 matches. Logan Paul's there almost month in and month out. And he's good. He's good in the ring. He's good at his role. People hate him. People are supposed to hate him. It works. I wouldn't be mad if Logan Paul won the world title right now.
Since 2022, he's had 19 matches.
Has Roman had 19 matches since 2022?
No, but Roman Reigns had the longest title run in that, and I was told by multiple people, including I think both of you, that he didn't need to defend the title that much. He didn't need to wrestle that much because of the story. So can't be both sides of that sword.
Oh yeah, I still stand by that.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm saying you can't be both sides of the sword whenever we're talking about how he's wrestled more matches than the guy who had the title for over 2,000 days.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. In Logan Paul's and establishing, he's
had 4 matches.
Upper middle Carter.
He's had 4 matches so far in 2025. 4 months in. One match.
I think that again, you don't have to like the guy. I don't really particularly care for the guy, but in terms of his in-ring ability, it's almost unfair that he's this good at the start of his career, and he kind of made it known that this year he was going to focus more on his wrestling career. So he's doing it. He's practicing what he's preaching. My brother, who's just casually getting into wrestling a bit more now because there's a bar in Pinellas Park that he goes to that is like wrestling heavy and puts AEW on in the fucking bar on Wednesday nights. And my brother's like, yo, this Logan Paul guy, it's ridiculous how good he is at wrestling. I'm like, yeah, you're right. That said, I picked him up in fantasy this week, so it better fucking be Logan Paul as your new world champion. That would help me out a little bit.
He wrestled 7 matches in 2024, and the last match that he wrestled in 24 before the Royal Rumble this year was the title match lost to LA Knight in Cleveland.
Okay.
So it feels like he's putting in a lot of work between February to August.
Was last year the year where he got hurt in Saudi, or was that the year before?
The year before.
Okay. I remember there was an injury there.
The year before, when he won the title from Ray in Saudi Arabia, and I think he got hurt in that match.
Okay. Yeah, I knew it was something in Saudi, but okay.
I won't take anything away from him. I think he's a hell of a fucking athlete. I think he's a good wrestler. But yeah, I don't know that I want him with the world title right now.
That's fair. I mean, I'm picking him because it wouldn't make sense for me to pick him up in fantasy. And
no. I'm just saying from a perspective of
sure.
I feel like there's going to be enough backlash on TKO WWE with this. Oh, sorry, the rash. He raked my back. So I feel like there's going to be enough negative publicity with the whole WrestleMania thing. Maybe we don't get adventurous right now. That's why I felt like maybe a month or two from now, maybe he takes it into the Summerfest inside New York, because who wouldn't hate to boo Logan Paul in the middle of MetLife Stadium?
True. But and I think you bring up a very valid point that that Logan Paul with a Money in the Bank and in a Money in the Bank ladder match would be entertaining. So,
Oh God,
Logan Paul carrying around that briefcase could be very entertaining for a few months.
yeah, for sure, for
Mhm.
sure. All right, Mike, you want to do a blind ranking?
let's do it. This blind ranking presented by me. Hello. We're gonna double down on the Money in the Bank because we're at qualifying time for Money in the Bank. I'm going to have you all, and this is the first of multiple blind rankings. I got to bring up my sheet real quick. We are going to blind rank Money in the Bank briefcase winners.
Okay.
It'll be just the year that I mentioned,
Okay.
and you guys will blind rank where you have that person. I will remind you of who they beat in the match, and I will then remind you of who they cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase against.
Okay.
I will tell you this. These are all victorious Money in the Bank winners. I am
Sorry, Damian Sandow.
Sorry, John Cena.
That's right. Sorry,
right.
Otis.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike the Miz.
Oh,
Sorry, Joe's favorite wrestler, Austin Theory.
Actually, The Miz was a successful cash-in.
Oh, he did cash in successfully, didn't he?
Yeah, when he won it from Otis.
Yes. Sorry to Joe's favorite wrestler, Austin Theory, for not successfully cashing in on the United States title. Because that was the thing. All right. So, number one, we will go to the year 2017. No, we won't, because Baron Corbin lost. 2016, Dean Ambrose. He defeated Alberto Del Rio, Cesaro, Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. He cashed in that same very night to take the title from his former Shield brethren, Seth Rollins.
Okay. So it's a strong group of guys. He won the match.
I don't know if Joe's actually here to know what's going on, so you might be blind.
I am. I'm here.
This feels 2-3-ish.
Really? This feels more like a 4 to me.
Does it?
Yeah, because I didn't even remember that Dean Ambrose ever won the damn thing.
That's a valid point. I can come down to 4.
Plus, I gotta say, I'm less impressed with less impressed is the wrong term. If you win the Money in the Bank and you cash it in the same night, there's no story to the Money in the Bank itself.
That's true. I will say to this one, though, doing it against Rollins, I endorse the same night cash in because he's doing it to a guy who kind of fucked him over.
And if I remember correctly, Rollins beat Reigns for the belt that same night.
I don't remember. I don't have that in front of me.
Let me do a journalism real quick. You said that was 2016.
Correct.
All right, so we go back to 2016. There's fucking 11 matches on this card.
Yeah, it was a marathon, boys. Strap in.
There's no reason for that. Okay, so match number 8. Ambrose wins the Money in the Bank ladder match. Then there was an 8-minute and 37-second title defense. Rusev defeated Titus O'Neil to retain the U.S. title. And then in 26 minutes, Seth Rollins defeated World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns to become the new champion. Dean Ambrose cashes in 9 seconds, wins the match, wins the title. So, yeah, because it's like an all-Shield Money in the Bank situation, that's one of the very few times where I think it's okay to cash in the same night. Otherwise, I agree with you, Joe. It's lazy. It's tired. If I don't see another same night cash in, especially on the women's side, for like 5 years at least, I'm good.
So we're sitting that at number 4.
Yeah, we'll go for. I'm fine with 4 on that.
That's where I'd go. Yeah.
Let me write it down so I can keep track of it. All right. So Ambrose at 4. Oh boy. You guys didn't think all of these were going to be good, did you?
Of course not. We know better.
Good. Because we're going to go to the year 2019.
I already hate it.
Cowboy B. Brock. Brock Lesnar defeated Ali, Andrade, Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Randy Orton, and Ricochet. He successfully cashed in on the Fox debut, defeating Kofi Kingston for the title.
I'm going to say something controversial. This is number 1. The money. First off, the fact that motherfucker just walked in uninvited, puts himself on top of the ladder, and steals the. Why have nobody else thought of that in the history of Money in the Bank? Why do I have to go through this match? The rule is whoever walks out with the briefcase gets a title shot. Why has no motherfucker ever done what Brock Lesnar did? Okay, and then Brock Lesnar was dancing around the fucking ring using the Money in the Bank as a speaker box. And then look, I understand why is there's hurt and anger around who and how this briefcase was cashed in. But it is what other time when a WWE TV show changed networks or whatever are you still talking about the main event any number of years later? It is one of the most talked about moments. It made an impact on the opening night of SmackDown on Fox. This was so spectacularly done. Because here's the thing, if Brock just goes in and they put on a 15 to 18 minute match and Brock wins, nobody's talking about it still. They're like, cool, it was a great way Kofi's title reign ended to Brock in a great match. Nobody's talking about it. You talk about moments. That's a fucking moment. When Brock Lesnar came in and yeeted Kofi Kingston out of his title reign. I like this one at 1. Joe, I'll let you give your thoughts on it, but I like this one at number.
No, I'm not mad at that. Like, there's 1 or 2 that realistically I think could go above it, but we don't know if those are going to show up.
Exactly.
And there's room for those at like 2 and 3 if they do show up. I'm not mad at this at number 1. Like I said, my whole reason for getting Dean Ambrose kind of low was I didn't even remember he won the damn thing. I didn't forget that Brock won the damn thing. That's a memorable ass Money in the Bank win.
I had the Brock Party fucking t-shirt, man. It was so good.
The boombox was amazing.
Yeah.
The fucking boombox was amazing.
It was so good.
I did enjoy that one. All right, we are going to go to the year 2021. The victorious party was Big E. He defeated Ricochet, John Morrison, Riddle, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, King Nakamura, and Seth Rollins. He successfully cashed in on the Raw World Champion Bobby Lashley.
Bobby!
I feel like I don't want to go all the way down to the bottom with it, but I don't think it's like high at the top either. So I guess it's ending up at like 3.
I like it at 3.
Yeah, just kind of process of elimination. Like it feels safe there.
Yeah, like it was a good Money in the Bank win. It was a great cash-in moment. Unfortunately, it happened during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it kind of loses some of its flavor there. But I mean, it's a Big E title win. Sadly, probably his only title win. So, yeah, it's definitely not a 5. It's definitely not below Dean Ambrose. But I think three's a good number.
All right. Let me bring up the so that I can give you all the successful information here. All right, we are gonna go. I don't think this is the right one. God damn it. Please hold while the next subscriber you reach is located.
Is the internet fucking lying again?
No, it's not lying. I'm just trying to figure out something, and I don't fucking remember. But pretty sure that this was the year. I just want to verify it before I give you guys false information. All right, it was.
What have we ever cared about that before?
I care about it all the time. We're going to go to the year 2013. Randy Orton walked out with the Money in the Bank briefcase. He held it for 35 days. He defeated Christian, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Rob Van Dam, and Sheamus. He successfully cashed in at the Summerfest, defeating new world champion Daniel Bryan. You have number 2 and you have number 5 left.
Man, I feel like for a lot of the similar reasons, you remember the win, remember the cash in, huge moment, things like that. I feel like this one kind of has to be 2.
I'm okay with that.
All right. What's our number 5, Mike? Did we do okay? Oh, fuck. I hate when he does this. We should have known better. Ambrose should have been 5. Joey, you should have fought harder for 5.
Oh, it's so good. Hold on, your number 5, unknowing to you guys, obviously, with the blind ranking. No, it is not the heist of the century, because that would have been the easy one. We go back to WrestleMania. We go back to the very first Money in the Bank ladder match from WrestleMania 21 that was victorious by Edge. He successfully defended the contract and eventually cashed in at New Year's Revolution on John Cena. He held the contract for 280 days. He defeated the likes of Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Christian Kane, and Shelton Benjamin. It is the rated R superstar. It is Edge.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I'm not mad at that. Like, it probably belongs above Ambrose, but it's not even the most memorable Edge cash in. Like, Edge's cash in when he didn't originally win the briefcase, when Kennedy won it, and then he won it from Kennedy, and then that cash in is a lot more memorable in my book.
What I will say in my own thought process here, it probably should have been number 3. Like, I wouldn't move Brock and Randy. I think you got those 2 right. But I would move Big E down and I'd move Ambrose down and I'd put Edge in there, because this is, you gotta remember, this is the first model. This was you never know when someone's going to cash it in. It could be after this grueling match. It could be randomly in a hotel parking lot. It could be on an episode of Raw. Like, the thought process of, oh, what could this be? I think makes that contract winning and eventual cash in. I think it carries it more than other Money in the Bank wins. Like him cashing in 208 days later or whatever. It made it part of the storyline too, because he defended it against Matt Hardy at the Raw Homecoming show, where it was career versus contract, and Matt ended up having to go to SmackDown because everything that happened with him and Lita. Like, they almost made it like a secondary title at that point. And I think that kind of like, we didn't cash it in 32 days later like Brock and Randy did. It was the first real, I mean, honestly, it was the longest contract reign out of the 5 that I gave you.
Right.
By a landslide.
Yeah.
So I don't hate the list. Only thing I probably would have, in my Edge probably would have been in the 3 spot. I would have moved Ambrose to 5 and Big E to 4.
Nice. All right, let's rattle off WWE Battleground.
Great.
Fucking wrong graphic. There it is.
No, it's not.
There we go.
Got him.
Get fucking Saturday Night Main Event out of the way. 6 matches. This one's Sunday night, Yingling Center in Tampa, Florida. We will start 6-man tag. Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs taking on the culling of Brooks Jensen, Nico Vance, and Sean Spears. Joe.
Let's go with the team with Sean Spears on it.
There you go, Mike.
Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs, former tag partners.
Aha.
So that has a little bit of extra caveat here. I don't give a shit. Give me Cassie's husband.
Give me Hank and Tank, and Josh Briggs is go for the ride. Singles match for the NXT Women's North American title. Saul Ruka respectfully defending against Kalani Jordan. Joe.
I'm going to take the champion to retain.
All right, Mike.
Let's go Soul.
Yeah, I agree as well. Keep it on her for a little while here. Next one, singles match: Tony D'Angelo versus Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Joe.
Man, fuck a rat. Let's go, Tony.
Mike.
You just answered the question. You say fuck the rat. What if the rat was literally just trying to kill Tony Soprano? Give me Stacks.
Ooh, boo. Give me Tony Mozzarella. Singles match for TNA World Championship. It's still fucking bananas that that's a thing. 2024 is weird, or 2025 is weird because it's not 2024. God damn it. Joe Hendry defending against Trick Williams. Joe.
I want Joe Henry to win, but it'd be kind of cool if Trick won the belt.
I agree. Mike.
I am going to take Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool for Trick to win, but I am also going Joe Hendry again. He's on my roster. So take that, Tim. Singles match for the NXT Women's Championship. Stephanie Vacour defending against Jordan Grace. Joe.
I kind of want to see the title change hands. Give me Jordan Grace.
All right, Mikey B.
Too early. Give me Steph to retain.
Yeah. She's on my roster, but I can pull now here, right? Jordan Grace loses. Stephanie retains. And last one, singles match for the NXT Championship. Obafemi defending against Miles Bourne. Joe.
Obafemi. I mean, it's definitely Obafemi.
All right, Mikey B.
Give me the ruler of NXT.
Yeah.
Obafemi.
Easy. Absolutely Obafemi with the retain here. So that is WWE Battleground, even though it's an NXT show. Figure that one out. But Tim brought up the grape. I asked him, like, why do they do that? And it's because sell more tickets when it's advertised as WWE. All right, like blind ranking.
All right, we're staying in Money in the Bank. We're going to go to the female cash-in winners.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them took place at Money in the Bank. So
I was going to say, I don't remember a single one of these.
Let's have fun with this one.
Say most of them happened at Money in the Bank, I believe.
All right, first up, we are going to go to the 2018 Money in the Bank. It was won by Alexa Bliss. She defeated Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ember Moon, Lana, Naomi, Natty, and Sasha Banks. She then, 2 hours and 52 minutes later, did the Lord's work and took the title off of that punk-ass Ronda Rousey.
This one to me, and I am an admitted Alexa Bliss stan, feels like a 1 or a 2. It was the first women. I think this is the first of many women's ones that was cashed in the same night. But yeah, it was. Everybody was like over the Ronda shit and save us Alexa Bliss. So I feel like it's a 1 or a 2.
I'm gonna say let's go 2 because there's one I would love to leave space for at 1 if she shows up, which is only so many winners, so she might show up.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good at 2.
All right, so Alexa Bliss from 2018 goes to number 2. All right, we are going to go to the very next year, WrestleMania 2000, Money in the Bank 2019. Bayley walked out with the contract. She defeated Carmella, Dana Brooke, Ember Moon, Mandy Rose, Naomi, Natalia, and Nikki Cross. She held the title for just an hour and 19 minutes. She then cashed in on Charlotte Flair after she beats Becky Lynch, because Becky had defeated, I think, if I remember this correctly, and I'm going to look at the results now because I don't remember exactly how it transpired. Charlotte beat Becky for the title. Then Lacey Evans got involved in a post-match brouhaha, and it led to Bayley being able to cash in after hitting the elbow.
Okay.
So Ballet from 2019.
Okay.
I don't have a strong feeling about that either way.
Yeah. 3 because I love Bayley.
Sure.
All right.
All right. Bayley 2019 on the board. All right. We are now going to move to. Hold on. Let me bring my list back up here because it went away. We're going to go back to the year 2017. This lady won the Money in the Bank briefcase twice. First time was because James Ellsworth got involved and actually won the Money in the Bank briefcase. But 2 days later on SmackDown Live, she then won the briefcase herself, defeating the same 4 other women, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Natty, and Tamina. She then cashed in the Money in the Bank on a SmackDown Live a couple days later. She defeated Charlotte Flair after the Iconics made their main roster debut, jumping Charlotte Flair. It is Carmella.
This was my number one. This is the one I was leaving room for.
I love it. I love it. I love that at number 1. It would 1000% be number 1 if they wouldn't have had to do the do-over.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you made the choice to do the James Ellsworth thing, and it fucking made sense for that gimmick at that time.
It did.
Just roll with it. Everybody got their feelings hurt about it. But even with the recovery,
It also helped that she held the contract for 287 days.
It's the most memorable thing that Carmella ever did in her WWE run.
I mean, I don't know. Those 5-second dance breaks with R-Truth are pretty memorable.
Respectfully.
Those pants were so tight. And so were Carmella's.
All right. Next up, we will go to 2023. The winner was Io Sky. She successfully cashed in at the Summerfest to win the contract. She defeated Bayley, Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus, Zelina Vega, and Zoe Stark. She cashed in on Bianca Belair. You have number 4 and number 5 left available.
I feel like this has to be 4, but also R.I.P. Zoe Stark's leg.
That was nasty,
gnarly, man. That's a bad, that no pun intended. That's a bad break. That was tough.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I wasn't even like watching Raw. I was like working on something, and I had it on, but I wasn't paying attention. And I just all of a sudden I look up and I'm like, wasn't this a triple threat?
Yeah, what happened?
And then like I'm on Twitter and I just see like a bunch of people like, thoughts and prayers to Zoe Stark. I'm like, the fuck happened to Zoe Stark?
You're like, did she die?
I was like, what the fuck happened? Like, wasn't she in this match? Like, and I'm going like, okay, weird. And then I do a quick like Twitter search, like Zoe Stark. I'm like, oh no. I just saw like the picture of like her here and foot this way. All right, what's our number 5, Mike?
You guys got this one right. Kudos, slam dunk. We'll go to the year 2021. This person defeated Asuka, Naomi, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Natty, and Tamina. Then cashed in on Charlotte Flair after hitting a diving crossbody. She was almost a superhero. It is Nikki ASH.
Yep. Yeah, we did right. We did the right one there.
Yeah, that one you wholeheartedly got right. The other one that I went back and forth on putting on the list because it technically was a cash in, but it didn't feel like a cash in, would have been Asuka getting the title because Becky being pregnant.
I was wondering if you were going to put that one on the list.
I did not. I did not because I don't think that in my mind
it doesn't really
counts as a cash in.
It doesn't. Yeah, because it was more just like handed.
Correct. It's kind of the reason why I didn't do any of the guys who had really lost the contracts either. I didn't have anyone who lost the contract either because I was like, well, they didn't really win the ladder match. They just kind of like Mr. Kennedy losing the title to Edge. Like that's why I put the Edge one in instead of the second one because the second one is probably the better cash in. But the first one is more memorable for me because he actually won the match.
I don't know where this happened, but I saw this video. These people, they put a mannequin in a hooded sweatshirt at an ATM. And
people stood behind him for like hours.
People just waiting behind him. And finally this one dude comes and like taps him on the shoulder and turns him and the mannequin's head falls off. Oh my god, that's perfect. I fucking love people.
So
that's good.
So there have been numerous successful cash-ins. There have been a few unsuccessful cash-ins. Can you tell me the one person who's won the Money in the Bank briefcase who technically had a no contest?
On the women's side?
Nope, it's a men's match.
Like they tried to cash it in and
they cashed in. They had a match. The bell never rang to end the match.
I don't have a clue.
Wait, I feel like it was somebody trying to cash in on like Brock or somebody.
This person called their shot. It was not a cash in.
Okay.
This person called their shot, called the match, had the match. The bell never rang.
That wasn't Cena.
Nope.
Give me can I get like a year frame?
It was the 2018 Money in the Bank winner. It was on the men's side.
Seth Rollins?
Incorrect.
The Miz?
Incorrect. I will read you the description of what the match was that ended in a no contest, and then I will let you all continue to guess, okay? I'm going to give you. This was a Hell in the Cell match with Mick Foley as the special guest referee announced ahead of time. The match ended in a no contest as Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman broke down the cell door and laid out blank and reigning defending champion Roman Reigns. While Heyman incapacitated Foley with pepper spray, both competitors were deemed unable to continue by referees. Roman Reigns versus blank inside Hell in the Cell.
Oh my god, I can fucking picture it too.
AJ Styles?
That's incorrect.
Wasn't Bray Wyatt, was it?
Incorrect.
Randy Orton?
Incorrect.
Okay, so 28.
Like who the hell else fought Roman Reigns?
Who else would have been feuding?
I've got nothing.
Who would have else been feuding with Brock and Roman? Just picturing like fucking Goldberg and fucking. I'm like, none of these, like fucking Undertaker. Like, I'm thinking of all the people that like Brock.
This person wrestled Brock Lesnar a few months later at Crown Jewel 2018 for the vacant world title.
For the vacant world title.
Is it Strowman?
Correct.
Oh, fuck that guy.
It was Braun Strowman.
Yeesh.
The cage match ended in a
I totally didn't even
contest.
remember that he was fucking Money in the Bank.
Yep. So Brock Lesnar defended the Universal title against Roman Reigns at SummerFest. Before the match began, Strowman came out and announced that he would be cashing in on the winner. During the match, Strowman was incapacitated by Lesnar, preventing him from cashing in. The distraction allowed Reigns to defeat Lesnar, ending his reign. The following night, Kurt Angle told Lesnar advocate Paul Heyman that Lesnar had a rematch. It would not occur for an indefinite period of time. The following week, Strowman announced that he would be doing it inside Hell in the Cell against Reigns. At the event, Lesnar decided to come in. The following night, acting general manager Baron Corbin scheduled a triple threat match at Crown Jewel. And then that's whenever Roman had to relinquish the title because he announced that his leukemia came back.
Okay.
And then Brock beat Strowman for the belt at Crown Jewel. That was supposed to be a triple threat match.
There it is. All right. AEW Double or Nothing this Sunday night from the Desert Diamond Arena in Glendale, Arizona. 8 matches currently on the card. I'm sure they will.
45 more to come.
I was going to say, I'm sure they're going to at least add probably 3 or 4. They usually add like 3 or 4 to the kickoff show as well. So
I'm going to look right now and see what's on the buy-in to see if, because there's already been a couple matches that I know of that have been announced for that. Oh, there's one.
I'm going to say there wasn't as of earlier today.
There is one. I'm looking at it right now.
What is it?
It is that big bitch Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay and Harley Cameron.
My God, you're a big bitch. The bigger they are, the harder they come.
Everybody wins. Everybody wins.
The internet.
The internet wins.
Did you appreciate that video I sent you of the two of them?
The one where she's biting the butt?
No, the other one. They did a pre match dance together. I sent it to you on.
Oh, yes. Loved it. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan. All right, we will get this started though. The 2025 Women's Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament Final. The winner, of course, earns an AEW Women's World Championship match at All In. We have Jamie Hayter, defending against Mercedes Moné. Mike.
See, this one feels like I want it to be Jamie Hayter.
Her.
I feel like Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm is a match that even Tony Storm has been kind of like teasing. But how the fuck are you telling me that it's not Mercedes Moné?
Also, how funny is it that matches would happen at the All In that isn't in London?
Well, that was because Jamie couldn't get cleared.
Yeah.
I truly believe that was because she couldn't get cleared.
I
Unfortunately.
100% agree. Just would be ironic if
it's absolutely
Hayter versus Storm in Yallin.
Yeah. Jesus, I keep forgetting that it's Yallin. Fuck that.
At 3 p.m. in Texas.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I will not be able to watch that live as I'll be celebrating something else that day.
That is true.
But maybe we can watch the re-air. We'll see.
Possibly.
That being said, fuck, man, I don't fucking know. Give me Hayter because Monet's got the TBS title unless it's going to be a unification match at Yallin.
There you go. Joe? Oh, no. Did we lose him?
He may have walked out to the other room to...
Last time we saw him, he did have a blanket and it looked like he was on the couch. We could
No, I think he was in his room, but still, yeah, we might have
lost him.
All right, that was fun while it lasted.
Well,
at least we made it an hour and a half.
I'll say he made a good run. We did start a little late.
Maybe he's boycotting AEW. Silent boycott.
Maybe he's boycotting Mercedes Moné.
Nah, that might be it.
That's a spirit I can get behind. That said, Mercedes wins because I picked her up in my fantasy roster. And because Tony Khan. Tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. The Hurt Syndicate defending against the Sons of Texas.
We hurt people. Because I do think that they're going to drop the titles at Y'all In, but I think they lose them then, and I think they probably lose them to like FTR or something like that, an actual like Tony Khan presents AEW tag team.
I hope it's the Sons of Texas because again I picked them up in my fantasy roster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I also think there's an interesting opportunity to have Dustin get a major title and to go into Texas as a champion.
I feel like I'd rather him win the titles in Texas if we're going that route.
Then why get them in this match?
Because you do something where MJF cost them the titles. The Hurt Syndicate say, okay, we'll wrestle you guys, but you got to put the Ring of Honor tag titles on the line. Titles versus titles at Y'all In.
Okay.
Winning team walks out with all the gold.
Fair.
And that's when MJF turns. That's when he believes the Hurt Syndicate. And then the back half of the year, you get the MJF Bobby Lashley feud.
See, I think Tony is they're gonna come in as champion, then he's gonna do a Vince McMahon special where nobody you never win in your home city. So
if they win the titles, they need to lose them before Y'all In. Lose them on an episode of Dynamite, lose them on an episode of
if they win, they're gonna take them to Y'all In and lose there. But I think it's more likely that they probably I'm just hoping. I'm trying to make up some points. Joe. Yeah, he's still dead.
Fuck Tony Khan. Yeah, I agree, Joe.
Singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm defending against Mina Shirakawa.
She's absolutely timeless. She lost her match to Mina Shirakawa to get this match. She's not losing again.
No.
Not here. I mean, if you're telling me she loses at Y'all In to Haterade or Monet, fine.
All Out, wherever the hell it was just announced at. All Out Toronto. Again, we all win. We win in this one. Big fan of Mina Shirakawa. Huge fan. But yeah, Timeless Toni Storm is winning. Joe? He's still gone.
I don't care about women.
Tag team match FTR against Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness.
The year was 2025 and Nigel McGuinness is going to be in a wrestling ring.
Love it. Love that for him. Love that for
everybody. That. There's not a shot in hell he wins though.
Nope.
Not with this Stokely Hathaway led FTR team and the way that this is going. Nah, it's FTR.
Yeah, easy FTR. Stretcher match. Wait, Joe? Yeah, he's still gone.
Nigel McGuinness is British.
Stretcher match. Mark Briscoe versus Rick O'Shea.
He's still a dick. I really hope that fucking Mark Briscoe wins this match.
I hope as well, but he won't. Well, I don't even want to make Joe pick this one. Anarchy in the Arena.
Stretchers suck.
There you go. Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, Willow Nightingale, and the Ops of Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Wawa Shibata Melt taking on the Death Riders, John Moxley, Claudio, Marina Shafir, and Wheeler Yuta, and the Young Fucks.
All right, I have a problem with this whole thing. I have a problem with this whole fucking match.
Oh, why?
There he is.
Oh, hey, you want to make some picks real quick now that you're alive?
Sure.
All right, let's
rapid fire.
Let's go back to the first one. Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné in the Owen Cup final.
Mercedes.
The Hurt Syndicate defending the tag titles against Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara.
Yeah, it's the Hurt Syndicate.
Timeless Tony Storm versus Mina Shirakawa.
God bless you. Tony Storm.
I should have said that.
I knew that was coming. FTR versus Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness.
FTR.
All right. And then in a stretcher match, Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet.
Ricochet.
All right. That brings us to Anarchy in the Arena. Again, Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, Willow Nightingale, and the Ops, which is Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Wawa Shabatamelt, and versus the Death Riders, Mox, Claudio, Shafir, and Yuta, and the Young Fucks. So, Mike, what's your issue with this?
Unless this leads to the return of Joe's second favorite AEW wrestler, that cold-hearted devil, handsome devil himself, Hook. Where the fuck is Gabe Kidd? You've brought him in. You've made him the quote mercenary, and has given the death fucks and the young assholes the advantage on multiple events, and this fuck isn't even announced for the match. But I got to deal with Uter? What the fuck are we doing?
Everything about the Death Riders stinks.
It just doesn't make fucking sense.
It stinks.
Well, that's factual. But it can stink and at least make fucking sense. It doesn't make sense. There's a lot of things that happen. And you're like, man, that doesn't make fucking sense. And you're like, well, that's fucking stupid. There's things where you're like, all right, well, I don't like it. It's kind of stupid, but hey, it makes sense. This doesn't even fucking make sense.
Right.
The Young Bucks and the Death Riders win because Gabe Kidd's going to get involved again. God, I'm angry.
I can tell. Joe.
He fell asleep again.
Oh, Joe.
I put him to sleep with my angry Gabe Kidd rant. It's on me. I should just let him pick first.
He's unmuted, though. Joe?
Yeah, because he fell asleep fucking unmuted. Oh,
man. We're going to hear him snoring in a minute, aren't we?
Probably.
All right. I won't pick the Young Bucks team. Any team with the Young Bucks, I will never pick them. I'm sure they will win.
So angry.
I'm sure it'll be stupid.
God, make this shit end.
But I will never pick them.
And I get it. Like, this is what heels are supposed to do. You're supposed to be angry. You're supposed to not be thrilled with it. You're supposed to be like, boo heels. I'm not even at boo heels at this point. I'm like, fuck these guys.
Yeah. So go. You know how bad? Like, it's so bad. I'm cheering for Kenny Omega.
I want Willow Nightingale to pin John Moxley to win Anarchy in the Arena.
Like that's how much I don't like the Young Bucks.
Oh, you're rooting for Twinkle Toes McFingerbang?
I am. That's where we are. All right, singles match for the AEW Continental title. Okada defending against that foot pervert speed bag Mike Bailey.
I hope to God he breaks his toes.
Oh, I
hope
so.
The first thing he does is just speed bams Mike Bailey's, has a fucking speed ham fucking hold on him, and he just right on the fucking toe, right on the big fucking toe.
I pray
Wear
for
some
it
shoes
every time.
Wear some shoes, asshole. Okada retains because we're getting Okada versus Omega for the titles unification match in either All In or All Out. So,
yeah, never picking the foot pervert. So,
the foot pervert.
I'm just gonna keep calling him the foot pervert over and over and over until he decides to wear shoes. Yeah, Okada. And then last one, the 2025 Men's Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament Final, winner earning a title shot, AEW World Championship match at Y'all In. It is the Hangman, Adam Page, versus Will Oceanspray.
Man, this one should be a fun one. I feel like this match is going to be really good.
Yes. This is like penciled into my match of the year list.
It also should be the match that ends this show.
It better be the match that ends the show.
That being said, I've gone back and forth in my own mental headspace of what makes sense. And I know that Tim said, oh, Will Ospreay will just fight Switchblade Jay White. Sorry, that doesn't do it for me. I like Switchblade. I like Will Ospreay. It don't fucking do it for me. That doesn't work for me, brother. If there's someone that's gonna take the title off of Jon Moxley, it's Will Ospreay. If there isn't a bigger face right now in AEW wrestling, it's definitely Will Ospreay. I love Adam Hangman Page. I was an advocate for him winning the title when he did. I'm a big Hangman supporter. I always have been. If he wins, I will be ecstatic for him. I love Hangman. But this is your opportunity. Will Ospreay's always been that guy. And it's time for the Death Rider thing to end. And I think this is the way to do it. So give me Ospreay to win, going all in, and fight for the world title.
Yeah, I rarely pick differently from one show to the next, but I do tend to agree with you as well. I think this Will Ospreay's your biggest star right now. And you're going into this. This is one of your biggest shows of the year. And it's leading into one of your other biggest shows of the year. So do the thing. Do the thing. Will Ospreay wins. Goes and wins the title. Saves us from Jon Moxley and the Death Riders.
What I will say is, if Ospreay wins, I think he leaves Texas with the title.
Mm-hmm.
If Page wins, there's a world where Kenny Omega walks out of Toronto, his hometown, with the AEW World title.
Okay.
We'll talk about that off air because I've been thinking about that one. Joe is starting to slowly snore. I can hear it in the background. It sounds like a nice every once in a while, so we can hear that one. Yeah. To quote the great Hulk Harrelson, he go. All right, wrestlers of the week. We had an abbreviated, obviously no show last week, so we'll each nominate 3 from the last 2 weeks worth of professional wrestling. Jim, I will give you the floor to start.
Then I'll go back to last week and let me look something up here really quickly. Let's see here. Where the fuck? Oh, Lyra Valkyria for the title defense at Backlash.
All right, I'm gonna go to that same show. I'm gonna go ahead and I will take John Cena defeating Randy Orton in the final swan song. As much as I said that I thought that this match was going to be maybe not their best match because of the whole character that Cena was playing, he turned off that you get nothing character and they had a fucking fantastic match.
Oh yeah. This was vintage Randy and vintage John. Sure. Honorable mention to Gunther for beating up on Pat McAfee. Honorable mention to Pat McAfee for taking said beating.
Pat McAfee, good human being. Character level, everything. He plays a character. I watched his show today. The pure emotion that guy showed when talking about Jim Irsay and the sheer gratitude that he shared for his experience with Jim, you know, not just on a professional level, but personal level. And he can be a little eccentric and he can be a little wild and he can be a little out there. And, you know, he also says and does some things that you may not agree with. And he may be friends with a gentleman who may smoke way too much ayahuasca.
Yeah, man, there's definitely points. Like, I feel like I ride a roller coaster with McAfee.
I feel like you definitely ride a roller coaster during the football season. During the football season,
it's all the time, because there's even points in the off season where it's like,
during the season though, you are one of the most during football season, you are one of the most I hate Pat McAfee people I know.
Dude, it's so frustrating because like he's so good on game day.
He's fantastic. He's so
like,
good.
Him and Nick Saban are the only reason I give a fuck.
Who knew that the 2024 power couple of Nick Saban, Pat McAfee would be so good together?
Like the clip of McAfee feeding Nick Saban a fucking T-bone steak is one of the best, still one of the best things I've ever fucking seen. But like, there's just some times where it's just like he says things and I go, man, you really don't get the world at all.
Let a naysayer know.
Oh my god,
that one, it's still one of my favorite videos.
I have to pull it up
because he literally stops the best lead-in guy for stories, and Chris Fowler stops him dead sentence.
Like,
oh,
it's truly, and like, because there's no faking this.
No, not at all. This is not.
Milroe often wears his own branded apparel, reading LANK across the front. It's an acronym that stands for "Let a Naysayer Know." Being told by his former offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien.
Not what I thought.
Is that not what you thought?
Boy, let a naysayer know.
Let a naysayer know.
Of course.
The professional's right in the middle of his lead. That's all right. I just keep going.
You almost lost me. It got real tight up here as you were. I just want to let you know.
I thought it was going down. I thought it was going down out here.
Oh, sorry about it. Let a naysayer know.
Let a
naysayer know. That's what we thought the whole time. That's what we all thought.
Like, I like, you know how on 3CT we had the Dale Earnhardt.
Yes.
And I recently cut the clip. And it was the live reaction of each individual person. I want that video for that clip.
Yes.
Because I want to see McAfee,
Desmond Howard,
him, and then I want to see Joey Galloway and Desmond Howard as
Pat says that
as Chris Fowler starts reading off "Let a Nate," and he's like, as the N is leaving his lips. I want to see what, like,
and he pauses so perfectly after he says the N. He's like, "Let a net."
Yeah,
naysayer no.
I just want to see everybody's reaction to be like, we're getting fired today.
Oh, awesome. Guys, it's been real. It's been real. So this is how you get canceled.
But yeah, he's McAfee is so good at what he does.
I will say I've listened to a lot of the Pat McAfee show. Especially I listened to a lot of the old Pat McAfee show when it was the podcast. It was on Sirius. It was on, I think it was on Barstool Radio at the time. And, I know that has a stigma all of its own. Probably doesn't help that situation at all.
Probably not, at least with me.
Pat McAfee, though, big mental health advocate. He's someone who's reminded me from time to time, hey, reach out to your friends, reach out to your loved ones, even if you haven't talked to them in a couple days, couple weeks, couple months, like reach out to those people, because you never know when you're reaching out to them can help them or vice versa. So, I know Pat has some questionable other things and
right. And that's why it's so frustrating to me, because I'm like, it's those points where I'm like, this dude gets it.
mm-hmm.
And then like other times he'll say things or do things when there's something controversial, and it's like he's doing this for clicks.
Mm-hmm.
He's purposely not taking a side because he's too afraid to piss off one side of his audience. And that's the kind of shit that bothers me, because because here's the thing. If Pat would come out and say on certain things that he believes this way or the other, and at his core, because of how he feels about mental health, and because of how like loud he champions things like his wife and women in his life and stuff like that, I'm like, this dude is probably more like-minded with me than I give him credit for. But it's because he's afraid to say it, because he's friends with Barstool people, and he's friends with Aaron Rodgers, and he's friends with all these people on the side that is going to back, and he knows that a lot of his audience is going to backlash on him if he does things. And to me, sometimes in the world we live in, it's more important to actually say how it is versus what you're too afraid to stand on. So that's why I get frustrated with McAfee. That's the core of it. But
he's a fucking entertaining fuck when he's in a professional wrestling ring.
So again, honorable mention to him. I will go with my second pick. Still the U.S. champion, Jacob Fatu, winning that fatal 4-way or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah, fatal 4-way. I'm gonna go with a woman who retained her WWE Women's title on SmackDown this past week. Give me old Tiffy time, Tiffany Stratton.
Old Tiffy time. And last one, I believe in this time frame we had a Indy Hartwell
House of
Glory women's champion. So congrats to Indy Hartwell, and also had her first match in TNA this week. So Indy Hartwell doing the thing.
Hold on, I'll do the old index.
Big fan of Indy Hartwell.
Yes, big fan. I'm gonna go with Mina Shirakawa for winning the number one contenders fatal 4-way to pinning Toni Storm.
I forgot we had 2 weeks to go over, because I had like Alexa Bliss, Roxanne, Solo, Rhea all qualifying for the Money in the Bank on my short list as well.
Number one. All right. That is Wrestlers of the Week. And that is going to do it for us this evening. Joe is asleep, so he will not plug anything, including his movie podcast, because you can't plug anything if you're sleeping.
That's a good point.
Jim?
Get me at Big Jim Sports on Twitter and Blue Sky. I have the link tree in my profile on both. Get all of my projects. Discussions with a Nobody. We'll be recording soon, hopefully in the next week or so. Now that hockey season's over, RIP. I'll have a little bit more time to hop down in here in the studio and do stuff like that. But we do have a YouTube channel now. So it's not. I'm probably not going to do any solo video podcasts, but all of the episodes moving forward will end up on the YouTube side, so you can grab those there. All podcast platforms with that. Huddle Up Podcast. Now we're still kind of in the off-season program. We'll eventually work on getting at least a little bit more in the way of off-season content before too long. I mean, we're about a month and a half or 2.5 months.
I can't wait for the quarterback rankings this year. I'm gonna have so much fun with those.
That's gonna be fun. But we'll get into that stuff in June and July as well. And then 3CT, we took a week off last week as well, but we had a really good preview and blind ranking episode here on the Thursday show. This upcoming week on the Tuesday show, among other things, we finally close up the sad song bracket. So tune in there, find out who won, and
I had a vote.
You did have a vote. So yeah, tune in, find out who won, and all of that over there.
All right, you can follow the show at Take the Number 3 Wrestling. You can follow me at They Call Me Burn on Twitter. You can listen to me talk about South Florida baseball, sunny days and double plays. I'm going to do an episode of that probably this weekend. We've reached the third of the way through the season, so I need to kind of do a full review of everything that's happened. That show I've kind of not really been doing. The back end stuff is really been kicking my ass, so just kind of not been able to really get down with that the last couple weeks. So we're gonna do a recap so I can start my weekly show with that again. Otherwise, you can listen to me and my wife, the 24 Hours to Burn. We're gonna do a new episode of that hopefully this weekend, as the kids are gonna be up at our parents' house, so we can actually sit down and actually have a fun episode and that we can actually get done. So we're looking forward to that. Otherwise, that's it. That's all we got. We'll be back next week with the fallout of Saturday night's main event, of Battleground, and more importantly, of AEW Double or Nothing. For Jim, for Joe, I'm Mike. We will see you next week right here on the Take 3 Wrestling Podcast.